Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and as you can see and as you can hear, we're doing things a wee bit different. I've decided, fed up with the same old boring stuff. We're sitting talking about the exact same thing every video, very depressing tone to it all. Same backdrop, same setting. So I've decided today, why don't we take a wee trip somewhere familiar? Just have a wee walk, talk about the game, talk about the situation. As I said at the end of the video, the Prague video, I didn't really want to have to rehash the same old stuff, but there's a lot to talk about as we head into the Cup now. A chance for Celtic to go and, start some form of run, which looks doable. I think it'll be a massive papering over the cracks, but we'll talk about that as the video goes on, but let's just have a look at where we are. Very quickly, if you would like to check out the top line of the description, please do so. You can download the OneFootball app if you want to keep up with the League Cup this year. Look at the results and the scores as they come in, and just look forward to the fixtures coming in the next few rounds. Of course, it's got to be hectic, it's got to be quick, and OneFootball will keep you covered with stats, who's playing, everything else you need to know on the road to the final, and hopefully Celtic will be in the final. So check the top line of the description, download the app, and you can check all this good stuff on the side of the screen for yourself. OneFootball. Oh, there she is. We're done at Paradise Boys, Parkhead. Decided why no, let's try something a wee bit different. Pretty empty, a lot of conversation about what could be happening down at this place tomorrow. We'll talk about that. I just gotta go a wee walk around the stadium, why no? Something a bit different, change the scenery up a bit. I'm very happy that the place is like dead. I've waited so long in the day as well. There was actually good lighting at a point around the stadium, and I've waited till what, like 2 o'clock to film this, not 3 o'clock, so starting to get a wee bit dark. Of course, Neil Lennon is still the Celtic manager. We woke up on Friday anticipating it could potentially be the final nail in the coffin. We thought that should have spelt the end for Celtic, but it didn't. As I walk past Celtic Park just now, the ongoings in the stadium have made it clear they think Neil Lennon is the right man for the job, and he's kept his place as Celtic manager, which to some is, not the call we were expecting. We heard about the Zoom meeting. Apparently they believe in each other. The board believes in Lennon, and he believes in the board, and they believe in the direction the club's going in, which is stupid. You even see Sutton, his article today, completely changing his mind. Absolute madness. That he's came out and done a proper shield heel turn on Lenny. Like, that just shows everything at this point. Just realised that, like, the Lisbon Lions stand is shut off to public access. So is the Jockstein stand. You can literally just come in the main stand, and that's about it. No, very handy. I was expecting to have a nice wee lap of the stadium, get a bit of fresh air for the hangover. Not going to happen by the looks of it. We're changing the route up. But aye, it looked as though that embarrassment at the hands of Prague yet again, the second 4-1 defeat, would surely spell the end and surely force some sort of change. Everything was just a joke, but nah, seems to be fine. And obviously being here at the stadium, there is talk of a gathering tomorrow to kind of protest the decisions going on at the club, and a lot of people feel like the club are moving backwards at a rate that is just unacceptable, and we've spoke about it time and time again. So rightfully so, I think fans are now deciding to do these sort of things. You've seen the banner last week, now they want to do strength in numbers approach. They're going for an approach that will hopefully be an eye-opener for the board. But the thing is now, if it wasn't to happen the other night, I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think the reality is that it's not going to happen until Rangers end up beating us again in January. I think that's when the change will come, and by that point it's too late, because you look at the next 5-6 games. This is now a time for Celtic to string wins together at a rate that will paper over the craps. The craps? Well, I suppose you could say that, the cracks. And that's because, the next 5 league games especially, you look at it, we've got Hamilton away, we've got Dundee United at home, I think, we've got 3 really easy home games. They're games we should be winning, and at this rate, I'm not confident in us just going and winning games that normally we should win, but we're going to probably take 15 points from that run of games, perhaps get through in the Cup, yes, as well. Europe, don't even want to think about, we won't talk about that, but we'll probably get points from these games, and then that will secure Neil Lennon's place as manager. And it's going to be until Rangers do something against us in January that could perhaps force change now, and it is just too late. So will the fans make something happen tomorrow? Will it put pressure on Lennon tomorrow and see us slip up at Ross County? I feel like the team's his head are just all over the place, and I don't see how we can have much confidence as fans tomorrow, because usually we would. Usually we think Ross County at home in the Cup, brilliant, but I don't know, it's just something completely different about this. And being around the stadium just now, it's knowing that they come here every week now with no fans, it is quite eye-opening, and it must not help them mentally, but the form at the minute, it's inexcusable, fans will know. There he is, man of the hour there, Larry, up at the sign. That's a very nice shot, isn't it? A Celtic legend in his own right, and I've said it time and time again, absolutely adore him. Legend, and I just want him to be gone at this point, just to save his legacy, because he's just in serious danger of tarnishing everything he's done at the club, and that's the worst part of it all. So the game tomorrow, Celtic obviously off the back of the 4-1 defeat. Ross County, a team who this season we've already played. We played well against them, in fact, in the league. And, you know, it's one of the better performances of the season. However, it's a team that probably will be fancying their chances a minute. They've been very up and down, Ross County. They've been very, very up and down. In fact, you know, they're a team who started the season very brightly. They were playing against Celtic. Going into that, I was talking about how Billy Mackay and Ross Stewart were big game changers. They could cause a lot of problems for Celtic, and that still goes now. It's just since then they didn't really kick on to the level I think a lot of people expected of them to. I think a lot of people expected much more from them. And you know what? It's just been one of those ones. I think every team between that sort of outside the top four, you know, the top four's locked in. Every team between 5th and 12th in the table have just been kind of average all season. They're kind of struggling to put a run together. And Ross County are one of the prime examples of that. But they're a strong team, and in the cup we've struggled against them in the past. So the League Cup against them isn't a favourable tie, I think, with the state we are just now. Yes, we should be going through it. It'd be embarrassing to go out tomorrow, and I think that is ultimately, I mean, you put that together, look at our form, 2 wins in the last 9. If Ross County were to knock us out the cup, it would be 2 wins in the last 10. We would be out of Europe before the group has even completed itself. You know, 4 games in and we're already out. We would be 11 points behind Rangers in the league, as we've already mentioned so much this season, and we'd be out the League Cup. Yes, of course, there's a lot of positives in the fact that we could go on to win our 4th consecutive treble next month at the Scottish Cup final in Hampden. You know, that's great, all very well and good, happy with that, but is it enough to justify the position the club is in this season? No, it's not. And I still get comment after comment after comment that say, you know what, you've got to think of these positives, you've got to think about what Neil Lennon's doing, you've got to think of the historic achievements he's bringing in here, but it's no time for that, it's no time for sentiment. We've got to act on these things, man. It's going to become too late, it is. And I was maybe talking about the game tomorrow, and ultimately it's all backtracked to this. We've all ended up back at this stage, because it's just, you can't avoid it at the minute with Celtic. It's just a horrible feeling. So the last league game was a 3-1 loss for Ross County against Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock were really good in the game, and that was a game where Kilmarnock actually went down to 10 men about 5 minutes into the game, I think 10 minutes into the game. So a really good result for Kilmarnock in that game, and Ross County would be severely disheartened after that. You know, you think to yourself, a team going down to 10 men, and Kilmarnock weren't on the best run of form heading into the game, you know, but down to 10 men, this is a game we should probably be able to go for now, take 3 points away from, and they end up losing quite convincingly. I think it will damage their confidence going into this, but they're not exactly playing a team who's high in confidence, so it's quite an interesting dynamic going into it. Apart from that, the League Cup run for Ross County was good, a couple of good wins before we went back to league action for them, so I suppose that's a reason to be a bit more confident. But aye, it's an interesting game. There's not much you can say, I suppose, in terms of what to expect on the part, because Celtic are, as are shown at the minute, hectic at defending. Ross County will now be following the likes of Sparta Prague, I think, and the likes of all the other league teams who have managed to score umpteen goals. And what is the exact statistic again? It's embarrassing anyway, the amount of goals we've conceded in the last, 2 months of football. It's absolutely shocking. You know, you look at Rangers, who have conceded 3 goals in the league, I think, something like that. And we've conceded more goals now than perhaps we did all last season. It's crazy, but Ross County will be following that trend. Let's force mistakes from Celtic's back line, let's make it tricky from set pieces. Ultimately, let's just make sure that all these errors that flag up consistently for Celtic flag up once more, and they have quality on the end of their chances. They do, they have the likes of Billy Mackay, they have the likes of Ross Stewart, and these are guys who will finish their dinner if they have to, and if we give them the chances from set pieces, it's undoubtedly going to be a tough one for us. But for Celtic, look, I guess we're back at Celtic Park. We're a game that can now set a tone for the next few games, but it's not going to make me happy. I think if we win tomorrow, even if we go and win 3-4-0, I'm still overwhelmed with a negative feeling towards the direction of the club. So it doesn't mean much in that front, but I suppose to get back to winning ways is important. And if it's Neil Lennon that is going to be in charge, then I suppose we need to start winning now. But we've said that week in, week out. Ross County, be interesting. I'm looking forward to it in terms of just seeing how many chances we can give them from extremely poor defending. And finally, team and score predictions. I think Celtic will stick with the 4-2-3-1. I think he's got to stick with having Eduardo in the park. His goal against Prague was magic, and it shows that he is slowly and surely getting back to his best, I think. Of course, he then went on in the game to miss an absolute sitter, and we also went on to lose 4-1, so his input couldn't have been that great, but the goal was the Eduardo of last season, just taking defenders out the game with his dribbling. Fantastic wee finish, just moments of magic, and we need that. I get PTSD standing here. It reminds me of the season ticket day and the blazing heat for 9 hours just waiting to get a season ticket. Absolutely horrendous that day. But no, look, Eduardo looks as though he's getting slowly and surely back to his best. We really need that. Apart from that, I think it's a chance now, Ross County. This is the game that Neil Lennon should have been bringing Julian back into, because now I'm not so sure if Julian starts. It would have made much more sense for Julian to start this game at the weekend rather than starting against Prague the other night. I touched on that in my video. It was such a stupid decision to throw him into the deep end in a European game, which Neil Lennon suddenly last minute changed his mind that we could get a result in and that we could head through the groups if we were to win the game. Madness, Julian started. This would have been a game for him. This is the sort of game you want to see the likes of David Turnbull playing. Obviously he can't, which is a gutter, but I think there's going to be a room for a lot of rotation. I think Barkas has got to return into the starting lineup. I think it would be absolutely daft not to put him back in the starting lineup. And Scott Bain's time at the club is number 1. For the last 7 games he's been the number 1 choice. Has got to be over, man. I've said it time and time again, he is not good enough to be Celtic's first choice keeper, and we've stuck with it, and we paid the price on Thursday night. So Barkas for me has to come back in. Apart from that, I think the team will stay a lot of the same, but I would like to see rotation. I would like to see Klimala get his chance, for example. I'd like to see players that aren't really giving us much this year, which we know have a lot more to offer, come in. Even the likes of Ismaili Assoro. Look, Brown should be dropped after his performance. I think that is pretty, I think we're all in unison with that. I think Brown has to be dropped out the team for now. So give a chance to somebody like Sorrow in a game like this. Look, how much worse can it get, man? If we go at the cup, it's like, I don't even know, it's mind-boggling at this point to actually think about we're in this position, because the last 3-4 years we've been in a position of just winning, going to cup finals and all the rest of it. But look, I would like to see a bit of rotation, because we can get the job done, and we're giving these guys minutes that they really need, because it looks as though some players, the same old players in the team all the time, are just now undermining the manager, and let's give other guys a chance. Ultimately, I'd love to, that's quite cool, they're up in the main stand, hey. Hello. But I'd love to see a managerial change first of all, of course, but changes in the team tomorrow I think are vital to trying to move on from this season. As for score predictions, I'm going to go for Celtic 2, Ross County 0. I think it'll be a really boring affair. And it's mad, I'm predicting a Celtic clean sheet. I think I've went off my nut. I don't know, I just see it being one of those ones now where the players and such will realise that all the conversations from this week and perhaps a fan demonstration will just be like, let's just calm this game right down, let's not be too hectic, let's just take chances when we can get them, we'll stay solid at the back and we'll keep the ball around the back. I can just see it happening, just a wee 2-0 boring affair. It's in the stars for me, and it would be a nice way for Lennon to answer the criticism, wouldn't it? He's dreaming for a result like that, because he'll come out after the game after a win and go, this is the standard now, this is it. Something like that will happen, and ultimately he'll be in the good books again. So no, I don't think from the fans. I think the majority of fans will still realise that we are heading in the wrong direction, but I've spoken up. Camera just magically died on me there, so I'm going to wrap up here. I feel like the stadium's getting a wee bit populated, and I don't like it. Don't like it at all. I feel like a worse cunt. Anyway, Celtic win tomorrow. I see it happening, and we'll discuss after that. It's been a bit hectic. That's just something a bit different, but look at that, gorgeous. This is what we like. We need the spirit of this back in the team. We need something like that. We need a wee bit of something. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But Celtic win tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But I suppose that'll do it. If you have enjoyed, like and subscribe. Sorry if it has been a little more hectic than usual. Just been kind of walking around, keep my eyes out for people watching me. Oh, there's white smoke coming for the stadium. Oh, there we go. We're going to get a new manager. There we go. Lovely. Right, see you all next time.